to the 2-hour news show. President Prabowo Subianto has established several main focuses for the first 130 days of his administration, which began on October the 20th, 2024. The prioritized policies and programs in effect include enhancing public welfare, economic development, infrastructure, as well as health.
Yes, let's delve into these 4 government's priorities in an interview with PCO Deputy Chief Noudhy Valdryno. Thank you so much,
Valdryno, thank you for coming again.
To our studio.
For having me.
Yeah.
So it has been 130 days, President Prabowo Subianto and his staff working in this new administrative. One of the most important thing is the nutritious meal program, the free meal program for Indonesian students. Do you have any updates on this? And how, my question is, how do you make sure this program is sustained in the near future?
Yeah. So it has actually been 130 days. We feel it's a bit faster than that, but we're proud to see the development that Prabowo, the president, wants to see in his government. Some of it has come into fruition. And just last week, actually, the president wrote a summary of his first 130 days in office. So I bring a copy of this for you guys later to study the policies that the president has made. So over the last 130 days, President Prabowo has issued around 46 major policies. We actually divided the policies into policies that have impacted the people and policies that will impact the people in the near future. And sometimes we know that our people want to see direct and instant results. Some of these policies have a longer term result instead of a shorter term. But the free nutritious meal programs have been one of the signature policies of Prabowo. And we're proud to see the development of it. Now there are over 700 SPPG or MBG kitchen, the spots where we serve the free nutritious meal programs. And then Prabowo has actually accelerated the target for our National Nutrition Agency. So we are supporting, we are wishing Professor Dadan the best that he needs to achieve 82.9 million this year instead of 2029, which is the initial target. So they're working 24/7 to make sure that the quality is controlled, the meals provided are actually impactful to our children, and we are pleased to see that the development of the openings of these new service spots have been very positive throughout the country. So now the free nutritious meal program is actually available in all provinces in Indonesia.
It's very interesting, Alia. I mean, like, I just really want to follow up the questions. Like, almost 2 million beneficiaries for this program. How you make sure that all the students, like in outside area, like outside the Java Island, having these beneficiaries?
Yes. The treatment for the spots outside of Java Island are the same with Java Island. This is the challenge and the opportunity of the free nutritious meal programs. The president wants the same service, the same quality, the same standards provided to our children, whether they are residing in Java Island or in islands other than Java, outside of Java. And this has been also related to his close relationship with notable global figures like Professor Jeffrey Sachs, who has been appointed recently as one of the advisors of the Nantara. In fact, Professor Sachs is actually one of the initiator or the man who has the idea of free nutritious meal program. He is a champion of SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. The president wants the standard of free nutritious meal program to be oriented towards SDG,
Okay.
so that we can compare the situation in Indonesia to other countries. We want to compete. We want to make sure that our children have an equal playing field.
Okay.
So the relationship and the discussion that the president had with Professor Sachs actually is really helpful in the conception of free nutritious meal
Indeed.
programs. And this
Alright.
can only be successful if we provide the same service to children nationwide.
All right, okay. Since you mentioned about Mr. Jeffrey Sachs as the advisory board of Danantara, it's been very dynamic as well.
Yes.
This is the first 130 days. We've seen a lot of breakthroughs as well from the government as well as initiatives. And with the launch of the Danantara Indonesia Investment Agency, the Gold Bank, how does the government assure that these initiatives can truly boost the gross domestic product or the GDP? I mean, we're in the middle income trap problem,
Yep.
and we want to have bigger GDPs or higher GDP, as well as jobs opportunities.
Yes. And to answer that particular question, I don't only bring one book.
Okay.
I actually bring with me two books, right? So this is the newest book of the president, Ekonomi Kita, Our Economy.
Right.
Inside the book, the president explains the key economics indicators that show the progress of our country.
Okay.
One of it being the importance of having a body such as the Nantara.
Right.
What we want to achieve before 2045 is for Indonesia to have a complete supply chain, to have a complete flow of investments. Meaning, if we have invested in smelters and we have invested in factory, we also want to invest in the critical supply chain along that industry. Let's say biofuel. We don't only want the other end and the other end, but we want to have a complete supply chain, A to Z. So this is where the focus of the Nantara going to be. They're going to identify key industries that can revive Indonesia's local and domestic industry sector, and they're going to identify which are the industry that we have some investment, and if we complete the supply chain, we can actually get the most value added from that particular industry. And of course, if we invest in the right way, if you identify accurately, then it can open jobs creation. Danantara have put such a high target of jobs creation, 8 million. And if we see all the potential, all the industries that we can revive, and we partner with other nations, then the 8 million jobs creation target is actually realistic and achievable.
8 million job creation target.
Yeah, we're actually very optimistic for
We
with
are.
Danantara.
We
Yeah.
are.
Okay.
So very interesting. You talk about Danantara, we talk about the economy, like Danantara is focused to boosting the economic sectors in Indonesia. So talking about economy in the midst of global economic volatilities, we talk about people purchasing power. Did you think that in this kind of middle level traps economies in Indonesia, how do you see the middle public purchasing power that control inflation right now happening in Indonesia? What do you thought on this and how we tackle these situations?
Yeah, so one of the things that we want to explain is that President Prabowo's policies cannot be seen separately from each other.
Yes.
MBG, or Free Nutritious Meal Program, is related to Cek Kesehatan Gratis, the free medical checkup. And then Danantara is also related to other programs. Meaning, all of this is to ensure that the government provides opportunities for especially the middle income, the middle class. This is very important for our country to thrive. We do have a target that in 2034, economically, we can take off. So our middle class have to play a crucial role in this. And to ensure protection for them, one of the key that we have to do as a country is actually to provide a high-value jobs.
high-value jobs.
Yes, high-value jobs, meaning they can get better salaries, they can get better network, they can thrive as a global leader in that particular industry. And to do this, one of the bodies that will spend 24/7 of their days doing jobs creation is coming back to the Nantara, right? If we have a complete supply chain in biofuel, if we have a complete supply chain in nickel or in palm oil industries, then there are more high-quality jobs available, and our middle class can actually access these jobs better than what they have in the market today. And without this, it's very it's very difficult for our middle class to enhance their welfare, right?
Okay.
So this is the middle income trap that that a lot of
Actual
experts.
middle income trap.
Yes, a lot of experts have talked about this, that middle class do not actually have access to better jobs. So the Nantara can revitalize our industries, revitalize our key sectors, and with that, we expect that more high-value jobs and more global-level jobs will be available.
But how long will it take? I mean, for Danantara to establish and
Yes.
to open up job opportunities, and we do realize that we need to upskill the,
Yep.
the skills as well of our people.
Yes, exactly. And there are three core opportunities that the Nantara have identified, right? The first one is, of course, human resources.
Okay.
We need to upskill Indonesians to be able to compete at the global level. And secondly, access to technology. We need to have technology to revitalize this difficult industries, complex
It's
industries.
one-way ticket, I guess.
Yes. And the third one, of course, is access to markets. Do we have the market? Do we have the demand? So the Nantara will, I believe it will take off. It has already been launched. But this is where I said that President Prabowo's policies cannot be taken separately
Right.
towards to each other, right? In the same time that the president launched the Nantara, he also launched another initiative called Koperasi Desa Merah Putih.
Koperasi Desa Merah Putih.
Yes, Merah Putih cooperatives in
Cooperatives.
villages, because he realized that all of his policies, again coming back to the 130 days book, some of it will have direct impact, some of it will have future impact. The Merah Putih cooperative is intended to revitalize the villages industry.
Right.
So if there are a lot of villages in Indonesia that have its local resources, right? Whether they can provide or they can produce vegetables, they can produce milk, they can produce food. And this is going to have a short-term impact. So after the Merah Putih cooperative is launched, all of our villages can already start their own industry. And there's already a big off-taker in this program, which is the free nutritious meal program.
Okay.
So that's how all the policies actually relate to each other. President Prabowo is aware that an initiative as big as the Nantara will take some time to be for its impact to be felt by the public. So he already prepared some of the shorter-term foundation for our country.
It's very interesting. I mean, like President Prabowo Subianto is very focused on the efficiency budget, on the government. My question, the government's managed over 300 trillion rupiahs without disturbing public service. What is the concrete act that this government really wants to do?
Well, Pak Prabowo has speak about the condition of our state budget for years. Back in his first presidential campaign in 2014,
Right.
he has already identified this as one of the problems surrounding our country. So out of the 130 days spent at the office, the president probably spent 30 to 40% of his time dealing with our state budget.
Okay.
So the concrete action is that he has went through all of the layers of our budgeting. Usually a president went to one to two layers.
1 or 2 layers, yeah.
He went to all 9 layers
Okay.
of our budgets, and he found out that some of the expenses that we have could be repetitive. And this is a key word in the budget efficiency, that this is an efficiency. It is not a cut. There are so many good programs that we have in our state budget, in our APBN. The president will hold into it. The president will make sure that the quality is at the same level from where it was. But some activities are actually quite bloated in some of the items.
Okay.
And stationery is a great example. I always talk about stationery wherever I was asked by our media friends.
Yeah.
That probably it's not intended, but it happens, right? Stationery is expense in many layers of our budgeting.
Yes.
And we've gone paperless, I mean.
And we've gone paperless.
Yeah.
So how many pens do you need, right?
Yes, exactly.
So this is the kind of action that the president have taken. And I think the key for the Indonesian people is this is to boost efficiency. It is not to cut our budget.
Okay. I mean, it's great to hear how the president is being very thorough and making sure that the APBN is spent efficiently as well. And the 130 days has been a lot of full of initiatives, and I guess it's fair enough to educate the people, right, on this. It's not only one or two policies, but it is also like the whole thing that makes up, the better Indonesia.
Yep.
So it is also, we have to realize though, the first 130 days included a debacle following the amendments of the Armed Forces Law.
Yeah.
And this led to protests that opposed changes within the Armed Forces Law. So what is the government's response to this?
Yes, we pay attention to, of course, all the suggestions and recommendations from our people, from the media folks, from our friends at the House of Representatives. But we also want to notify all of the Indonesian people that in a legislative process, of course, you have phases in it. There are aspirations from different groups of legislators. There is an aspiration from the government as well. So throughout the process, we have to be really careful in identifying which are the ones that have been a matured fact. It's a concrete fact, and which are the ones that are still in discussion, right? And I think the impression of the recommendations and lately the protests is that some of the points discussed by the public are actually not in the final draft, right? So we want to make sure our public that the government do listen to all recommendations, especially from our people. But when we are discussing the regulations that our country have, especially one as important as the Undang-Undang TNI, we have to be really careful in identifying which are the facts and which are
Still in discussion.
Still in discussion,
Yes.
right? And I think one of the debate has always been the 15 agencies that active military personnel can
actually fill in.
be appointed.
Yep.
And there are a lot of debates in social media, in our media. And then at the end, when you see the final draft, it's just the 15 agencies that require, these agencies actually require military expertise, right? People like us who are educated as journalists, as public policy, as social science, we are not equipped to deal with, let's say, our marine security. We need folks from the military. We need our friends from military. And this has been one of the intense debates that I've seen. And I think now that it has all passed, we do believe in democracy. The president believes in democracy, freedom of expression. But we also want to make sure that our discussion is productive from the government to House of Representatives and with the people as well.
Yeah.
And to achieve that, let's be very careful in identifying the facts and the still in discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we believe that hopefully the end result of that constitution has integrated the people's recommendation and suggestions as
Yeah.
well.
It's great to have answers, I mean, to a lot of questions that are
Yes.
emerging from
Yeah.
the public as well.
Yeah.
But thank you for speaking in Say today. Noudhy Valdryno,
Valdryno.
PCO Deputy Chief. Thank you very
Thank you so much
much
for
to make
joining
clear.
Thank you.
Clear up.
Well, yeah, thank you, Mas Ade.
Thank you very
Good
much,
to see you.
Valdryno.
All right, we are going for another break, and after the break, Alia will deliver some economic and business updates.
Indeed, so after the break, we'll take a look at some business updates from Indonesia as well as beyond. So stay here only on the Tirani Show on Say Today.